What? Bang!
Pro Wrestling Podcast. Just when they think they got the answers, I change the question.
Rep screwed rep.
Yeah.
Woo!
Who are you to doubt El Dan? Because this guy's a serious professional.
Did he do it?
Too hot to handle and too cold to hold. And I am the Macho King Savage.
Shut your mouth, you thong-wearing fatty. I said WWE stands for... It's me, Austin. I will never retire.
Promotional consideration paid for by the following.
Hey, yo, Pro Wrestling Podcast listeners, welcome to the show where we don't sing it, we bring it. Help us out and click subscribe to show your support. Are you sick and tired of dropping $60 to $100 for the latest and greatest wrestling video game? Stop immediately. Go to Wrestler Unstoppable, available exclusively through Facebook. Create a wrestler, sign contracts, get into storylines, headline PLEs, even build your own corporation, all included in Wrestler Unstoppable, available now to all Facebook users, totally free. If you want to become a member of the Pro Wrestling Podcast family, want your name in the shoutouts, like my good buddy John down in Texas. John, always love giving you that shout out. John and I are working on some great Patreon exclusive content. You gotta join the Patreon family to get that content. It'll be coming out soon. Loyalty rewards: if you are a $15 a month contributor, you can host a live show with myself. $7.50 a month, you get entered into a drawing to also host an episode with me. Hello everybody, welcome to this episode of the Pro Wrestling Podcast. If you've got questions, you've got comments, anything you'd like us to get to in a future episode, call us, let us know. Call into the Pro Wrestling Sound Off line 267-642-1160, and we will get to as many of those comments, questions, and concerns in a future episode as possible. Tonight, it is prediction night. We have two shows taking place in less than 24 hours. We're going to start with NXT Heatwave, and then we will make our way to AEW Forbidden Door. Lots of conversation today about what's going on at Forbidden Door. We'll get to that in a brief amount of time. Let's open the show with Jordynne Grace versus Blake Monroe, NXT Heatwave. This match, let's be honest, they've done a great job of building up the excitement for the show. They've really tried to make this seem as authentic as possible. It's a great way to introduce Monroe into a phenomenal feud to start her career in WWE. The downside to it for me is Jordynne Grace, I feel like since arriving from TNA Wrestling, has not been given the platform to really be the megastar that I thought she was going to be the minute she got to NXT. Now, is this a way to transition Jordynne Grace to the main roster? Possibly, but the concern there is we're starting to get a logjam at the top of the card in WWE. When you've got people, and I'm not complaining about this, when you've got people like Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss working in the tag team division because there's so many big names at the top of the women's division on both shows, adding another amazing talent is not necessarily a great idea. Now, I know when she came to the company, Jordynne Grace supposedly got main roster money, but was going to NXT first. At some point, TKO is going to want to start getting a return on that investment and the main roster, and that means she has to move up sooner than later. I don't know if this is a send-off match to send Grace to the main roster. If not, if she is not leaving for the main roster, she should win. My opinion, Blake Monroe has to win this to start off her career in WWE, so my prediction is Blake Monroe defeats Jordynne Grace. Jordynne Grace then eventually heads to the main roster. For the NXT Tag Team Championship, Hank Walker, Tank Ledger taking on two members of Dark State. We have not been told which two. Could be any of the four. That match, in my opinion, Hank and Tank are a great act. Everybody was so excited to see them win the NXT Tag Team Championship. However, if you're going to make it stable like Dark State, and you don't want them to turn into, a knockoff of previous factions that were colossal failures, you have to give them a big win. You got to give them the NXT Tag Team Championship. I don't think it hurts Hank and Tank to lose here. I think the best decision for business is to go with this and you give the win to Dark State, especially when you have 4 members. That way there could be outside interference that leads to a non-clean finish, which would preserve the characters of Hank and Tank. So I think my official prediction is the NXT Tag Team Championship changes hands and goes to Dark State. When we get to the next match, JC Jane, the current Knockouts and NXT Women's Champion, this match is only for the TNA Knockouts World Championship. She is defending against Masha Slamovich and Ash by Elegance. I'm stuck on this because I think the easy thing to say is Masha Slamovich regains her championship, which I have no problem with if that happens. She's an amazing talent. However, much like on the men's side of things with Mike Santana and Joe Hendry, I think Masha Slamovich is on the WWE radar and someone who they want to see at some point be in a WWE ring. And I don't mean for one of these shows, I mean main roster. Ash by Elegance has done the WWE thing. She's not going back anytime soon. Certainly not at this stage of her career. And I think it could only be good for her to be the TNA Knockouts World Champion. I think you could protect her with a schmaz finish, especially with the rest of the Elegance brand. So my official prediction, going against the odds makers, by the way, is that Ash by Elegance picks up a sneaky win and becomes the new TNA Knockouts World Champion. In a grudge match, triple threat to determine the number 1 contender to the Women's Championship in NXT, Jada Parker takes on Kelani Jorna and Lola Vice. My opinion is, at this point, if you do not give Jada Parker this win, I don't think you ever will. Kelani Jordan is incredibly talented, as is Lola Vice. All 3 women have every right to want this win. All 3 could easily be booked to be future world champions on the main roster. The women's division in WWE, whether it's main roster, Raw, SmackDown, or NXT, even in Evolve, even at LFG, is phenomenal top to bottom. So I have nothing bad to say about any of these women. I just think Jada Parker has to do it now or it's never going to happen. My prediction is Jada Parker walks out the winner and new number 1 contender for the NXT Women's Championship. In an interesting mixed tag team match, Chelsea Green and Ethan Page with Alba Fire and Piper Niven at ringside will take on Tyra May, Steele, and Tavion Heights. Mixed tag team action, and I see only one outcome for this match. Tyra May, Steele, and Tavion Heights have to win this match. Ethan Page, he'll still be a champion afterwards. Chelsea Green will still be able to go back to SmackDown and continue what she's doing there, some of the best work of her career. But with the outside interference backfiring, I think they get a pin on Chelsea Green for Tyra May Steele, which is a great launching point for her and her NXT career. That's my official prediction. In the main event, Oba Femi, the NXT champion, defends the championship against, in my opinion, the underdog favorite, Javon Evans, for the NXT championship. My prediction, it should not be a surprise. I said it on a previous episode that they were building to this. I predict that Javon Evans becomes the next NXT champion, defeating Oba Femi here at NXT Heatwave. That being said, the other show for the weekend, we got to get into it. AEW's Forbidden Door 2025. The matches are amazing. They really are. This is a great card top to bottom. Where do I start with the matches here? Let's start with Adam Copeland and Christian Cage taking on the Matriarchy, Kip Sabian and Killswitch, replacing Nick Wayne due to the injury, with Mother Wayne at ringside. I don't know what you do here because I don't see any way for Cope and Christian not to win. At the same time, it kind of sucks to pin Killswitch early, so obviously Kip Sabian is there to take the fall. My official prediction is Cope and Cage win. There's a reason for that. We'll get to that later. But I don't like the fact that Killswitch is going to take a loss in his first match back. Unless he's going babyface. I would be okay with that too. Moving on, Hangman Page and MJF. I know, a little wonky order here, but I'm going with it for a reason. Hangman Page and MJF, look, before the stipulations were added on Dynamite, which I put on a previous episode, I thought was a train wreck and a horrible idea. I would have said this is easily Hangman Page all the way through and through. The problem is when you make it so he could lose the championship by disqualification, countouts, anything pretty much, and that MJF is not cashing in his contract, there's no reason for MJF to win this match because he could just cash in again later. But the disqualification and countout stipulation makes it very, very interesting. Unless it's just optics to make it seem like the championship is in peril. My official prediction, Hangman Page retains the championship against MJF. Now, that being said, I would not be surprised. I'm not making a prediction. I'm just throwing it out there. If right after the match, The Hurt Syndicate attack Hangman Page, and MJF cashes in immediately following the match and then wins the World Championship. The fans would hate that, but I could easily see that being something Tony Khan would think he's outsmarting the audience and go ahead and do. All right, next match. Zack Sabre Jr., the IWGP World Heavyweight Champion, defending against Nigel McGuinness. A dream match we never thought we'd see with Daniel Garcia in McGuinness' corner. I think this match is to set up a different feud. Obviously, I think Zack Sabre Jr. retains the championship. That's an official prediction. Mark it down. But I also think Daniel Garcia goes heel here and attacks Nigel McGuinness after the match, which I think will set up their next 3 to 4 months of programming. McGuinness getting much more active in that feud. For the AEW TNT Championship, Kyle Fletcher defending against Hiromu Takahashi. If you are a diehard New Japan Pro Wrestling fan, you know that Hiromu Takahashi easily could win this match, and it would not be a shocker at all. He's amazing. However, because I'm a fan of all things that are pro wrestling, and I also understand booking sense, Kyle Fletcher is the future of this company, potentially the business. Kyle Fletcher wins here, retains over Hiromu Takahashi. Mercedes Moné defends the AEW TBS Championship against Alex Windsor, Persephone, and Bazilla. This one is difficult for me. You're in Alex Windsor's, home field advantage situation. Moné with all those championship belts, 8 of them around the world. There was an article out this week online about her complaining about how difficult it is to lug around 80 pounds in her carry-on luggage for all those championship belts. But at the same time, I don't think that belt comes off her yet because she still has to do more with Toni Storm or Athena or both. My prediction is Mercedes Moné retains over all 3 of her opponents. Speaking of the women, Timeless Toni Storm defends the AEW Women's World Championship against Athena, the reigning Ring of Honor Women's Champion. Her reign there is epic. This is difficult. I think it's time. I project here that Athena is going to dethrone Timeless Toni Storm and win the AEW Women's World Championship, basically unifying with the Ring of Honor Championship. Eventually, that'll lead to a Mercedes Moné match where all the gold will be on the line, which is obnoxious and absurd, but that's what I expect to see. In our next match, Kazuchika Okada, the current AEW Unified Champion, taking on Swerve Strickland. Okada's held the belt for forever in 3 days. It's time. Swerve Strickland wins the championship here. It has to happen. Okada can't just keep running with that for years and years and years. It doesn't even make sense. There's no sense to make the title if it was never going to change hands. I think you switch it to Swerve so Okada can win the tournament again this year and challenge him a few months down the road from there to get his belt back. The Hurt Syndicate, Lashley and Shelton Benjamin, the AEW World Tag Team Champions, defend in a 3-way dance elimination style, going against Brody King and Bandito, and FTR, Cash Wheeler and Dax Harwood. I think for me, weeks ago, this was just going to be Hurt Syndicate, FTR, and FTR was going to win. Word is the Hurt Syndicate are not willing to do the job. I can't believe that that's still a thing in 2025, that wrestlers refuse to do a job like they earn these titles. It's predetermined professional wrestling, and I'm a diehard fan, and I have no problem with it being predetermined, but you do what your boss says. You're not going to lose anything. Bobby Lashley's in his 40s. Shelton Benjamin, too. You're not going to just damage your legacy losing the World Tag Team Championship to, of all teams, FTR. But FTR are going to defeat Brody King and Bandito to win these championships because the Hurt Syndicate's too big to be taken down, just so they could set up, as I said earlier, there was a reason, so they could set up the match with Christian Cage and Adam Copeland for the Tag Team Championship in a couple weeks at All In. And in what I'm deeming the main event, the Golden Lovers, Kenny Omega and Kota Ibushi, Darby Allin, Hiroshi Tanahashi, and Will Ospreay take on the Death Riders, Claudio Castagnoli, Jon Moxley, the Young Bucks, Nick and Matt Jackson, and Gabe Kidd in a lights-out steel cage match, advertised that way so it was non-sanctioned by AEW, so that Will Ospreay could compete because he's not medically cleared. Word is today there are those in AEW in the back who are legitimately concerned that Will Ospreay is not good to go, that he is actually injured, and that they are very concerned about him participating in this match and don't want him to compete. But he is determined to do so in his home country. Not a great idea. We're going to have to monitor that closely. There is still a chance they could switch him out. Can you imagine if they put Daniel Bryan in there in his place, who, by the way, is in town to do commentary? So we'll have to wait and see how that all plays out. But definitely a serious concern. He does have a neck injury, claiming that it can't get any worse than it already is, which I beg to differ. He could die, but he will definitely be supposedly in this match. And my prediction here is, believe it or not, the Death Riders and their team win this match if Will Ospreay does not compete. If Ospreay competes, he wins. So I'm putting a caveat in there about the two different options because we don't know yet, and I'm not going to let a swerve change my predictions. I'm going to predict both scenarios. If Ospreay wrestles, they win. If he does not, they lose. That's the way I see it. That's all the time we have for this episode. Check back with us next episode to run down the latest wrestling news and rumors. Special thanks as always go out to Suno for creating our music and sound effects. Today's show sponsored in part by Beazle Games. Bring a new friend to family game night. It's easy with Sketchy People. Showcase your artistic side in this game by going to thegamecrafter.com and picking up your copy of Sketchy People by Beazle Games today. If you're looking for your next career move, you're considering college or university life, or you just need some formal training for your next career decision, go to our website at frolifeplanning.com for all your higher education needs, as Frolife Educational Planning is for today, for tomorrow, and for life with Frolife. I'm Fred Froelich, better known as Dr. Fro. I want to thank you for taking some time with us today. Until next time, take care. Have a great night.
Wrestling Podcast.